Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nicole, and I work for LEORON Institute UK. And joining us today to talk about digital marketing is Martin Henley, one of our expert trainers who delivers the Certified Digital Marketing Professional Program that LEORON organizes, and it's with the Digital Marketing Institute. So Martin, if you wouldn't mind starting us off with a bit about you and your experience, and then we'll get stuck into some questions about digital marketing and how people who are looking to get into the field or progress within their role can up their skills and learn something new.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me, Nicole. So my name is Martin Henley. My business is the Effective Marketing Company, which is a business that I started way back in 2005. I've been a lecturer with the Digital Marketing Institute since around 2012. So horrifyingly, that's coming up for 10 years of doing this. But it has taken me to, I think, 5 continents. I've taught this all over the world to thousands of students. And so I think my qualification, the reason I'm qualified to deliver this course is because I was one of those people between 2005, 2012, 2015, who was banging their head against the wall until it was bloody trying to get digital marketing working. And that kind of qualified me. I've made every mistake in digital marketing, and that kind of qualifies me to teach digital marketing now, which I'm very excited about.
Excellent. That's great. All right. So speaking of digital marketing and moving into that profession, everyone seems to want to do digital marketing right now, or maybe everyone feels it's necessary to do it, whether they're a small business owner or someone looking to change careers. And it's also viewed as a glamorous profession. Do you agree with that?
As a what profession?
A glamorous profession.
Glamorous.
Something very cool to be doing.
Okay, well, I think it might be cool. I don't know if it's glamorous. If glamorous is the word that I would use. I think digital marketing has changed marketing is what's gone on. And I think historically, like before digital marketing, marketing didn't really have a great deal of credibility. It was seen as the thing that costs a huge amount of money, but doesn't necessarily deliver a great deal of value. And the reason for that is because there wasn't really feedback with traditional marketing. If you were to put up a billboard or advertise on the TV or in a newspaper, on the radio, or you were to send out a mail shot, you wouldn't, unless somebody was actually turning up and buying that product or service, you wouldn't get any feedback. So it was very hard to justify marketing before digital marketing. And I think what would happen is if the boss was in a bad mood and they wanted to pick on someone, they would pick on the marketing department because they were completely defenseless. So I think marketing has changed. Digital marketing has changed the nature of marketing. And then I think it's about like perspective. So I think digital marketing, if it's done right, can be very effective for businesses. And we hear about how effective digital marketing is for businesses. So I think if a business is looking at investing in marketing, then because you get the feedback, because it is so much more effective and certainly much more cost effective, then it makes a huge amount of sense for businesses to be investing in it. So then if you think about the people who might be looking at careers in digital marketing, I think there is demand because this is working for businesses. And I do think it's quite a cool job because, you can do this from anywhere. So the whole digital nomad thing that was going on up until obviously the wheels came off a couple of years ago, there were lots of digital marketers running all over the world. They could provide a service from wherever they were with their laptop. So I do think it's quite cool. I think it's become much more useful for businesses. It's much more accessible for people, so they can do it anywhere. And the other thing is, I think it's hugely empowering. So once you have these skills, you don't have to be employed. You can offer these skills as a service, as a freelancer, or start your own business, or start your own business offering these skills and services, or just start your own online business. So something that I try and motivate people to do on the very first day of the course is to actually go home and build themselves a website, because of course you can do that in minutes if you have an idea of how to do that. And the record, I think, for somebody being full-time employed from their own website is about 3 months, so it's definitely working better for businesses. And I think it works better for individuals because you don't have to be a slave to a job. If you've got these skills, you can offer them as a service, or you can start your own business, so I think cool. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say glamorous.
Okay, cool is still pretty good.
It's cool is cool.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So would you say that there are key attributes that you need to have, sort of maybe as a person in your personality, before going into digital marketing? Does it take a certain type of person, I suppose?
I think it takes a certain type of person, and the thing is, it's become diversified, and it's become kind of segmented. So you could be full-time employed not only as a search engine optimization person, but you might be full-time employed with on-page optimization, for example. So in which case you'd want to be more technically minded, probably, but also you want to be creative enough to create content that people want to come and engage with. So I think generally it takes a mix of kind of geekiness and creativity. So if you are interested in numbers and those kinds of things, then certainly the point of doing digital marketing is to be managing those numbers. But also you need to be creative enough to be putting out kind of content and things, products and services that people are going to want to engage with. So I think at the top level, you want to be kind of a mix between, so if you want to be in marketing management, for example, you want to kind of be geeky and creative. If you want to go more towards, the creation side of it, then you want to be more creative. If you want to go more towards the technical side of it, then more technical. So I think in terms of personality type, you really want a good mix of those two things. And in terms of personality, I think people who work in sales and marketing are typically much more positively motivated, So if you feel like you want more money, you want more kudos, you want more success, then I think that sort of personality will be really good. I think in marketing, in the whole of marketing, you kind of need to be a self-starter because the job of marketing is starting things, So that's what I think, a mix of technical and creative, and certainly a self-starter, positively motivated kind of a person.
Excellent. No, I definitely agree. It does take some to get going and to get out there and to get your stuff working for you.
Yeah, the thing about marketing is until you do your work, there's no work for anyone else, So like you can't and I've always thought this is like you start a job in an accountancy, and there will be a pile of accounts that need your attention, or you start work as a project manager, there will be projects that need managing. But when you start as a salesperson, you're lucky if there's a phone on your desk, and there's certainly no work for you to do. So you definitely have to be a self-starter.
Fun. Okay, thank you. So for those who are thinking about moving into this profession or maybe changing careers, are there certain skills that every digital marketer needs to know? Is there a list of skills that everyone needs, or is it very broad now? And if it is broad, are there a few that come to mind that are really important to have skills?
I think what you need, and this is what I tell students on the course, is you kind of need three things if you're going to have a career in digital marketing, I think. So not necessarily in this order. Can I think of the order? I think firstly, you need to have the skills or an idea of what the skills are and the confidence to actually do it. So what I tell people, and I don't want to upset anyone, especially you, what I tell people is I can't really teach you digital marketing because it's a little bit like teaching somebody to surf. Like the very best that I can do is teach you how to be safe in the water and give you the motivation to get in the water, because this is such a dynamic thing, because this is run by 3 or 4 corporations. If somebody in those corporations decide they want to change something, then it changes globally. So I've lost count of the amount of times that I've been delivering a training and I will open up a tool and it won't look the way it did the night before when I reviewed it to make sure I knew how I was going to use it. So it is as dynamic as that. So I think that's the first thing you need, is you need to have an understanding of how these things work, and you need to have the motivation to do it and the confidence to do it. You're not going to break the internet. So that's the first thing that you need. The second thing that's really useful is a certificate. So if you can go to an employer and say, here I am, I'm certified to do these things, then I think that's a really useful thing to have. And I think the third thing is a network of people who are in a similar position to you. So those for me are the three really good reasons for doing a course like that, because it will give you those three things, or certainly a course like this should give you those things. So the confidence to actually get in the water and do the stuff, a certificate, and a network of people who you can call on when you think you've broken the internet, but you haven't actually.
Excellent. No, that's good. Always handy to have that network, and also to learn from each other. What mistakes did you make when you were testing this out, and having that feedback probably is a great thing.
Yeah, but the network is such an important thing, because there's so much to this, and this is why it's become so specialized. So the network is really, really important, even if it's like, for example, having a group of people you can say, like, I've put this video together, it's launching on YouTube. Can you all be there for the premiere? Do you know what I mean? Even as simple as that, or something much more technical and complicated, like there's a new algorithm update. How are people finding it? What are people are doing? My pages are down. My pages have been deranked. So having people to speak to in those serious situations, I think, is really valuable, really, really valuable.
Okay, so now on the back of that, do you find that a lot of the groups of people that you teach create their own network from being part of that class?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they all make friends on Facebook. It's kind of changed now because we're doing this as live virtual training. So it's changed a little bit now. But certainly when you're in the room with people for 5 days and you're being challenged and you're challenging and you're laughing and you're joking and people come out of it and they're proper friends at the end of it. So for 100%, like, people do that. They stay in touch, and yeah, and they
Excellent.
have that network.
It's almost like a guaranteed group of cheerleaders for each other.
Yeah. Well, it
Excellent.
depends. You have to be nice to people. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, that's true. True. If you're nice, I suppose. Yeah.
If you're nice, then you've got a network, yeah, for life.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you have more of those people than the other kind.
Yes, 100%. We haven't had any unnice people in all of the trainings I've done.
Well, that's digital marketers for you, I think, right? Marketing
Yeah, yeah.
consultants. Excellent. So I know that me personally, I've spoken to quite a few digital marketers in the last even 6 months, and they use a lot of digital marketing jargon. And now this is something that you've discussed in a previous webinar yourself, and I know that a lot of people find it a bit intimidating or a bit hard to understand. But is this part of being a digital marketer? Do you think the beginners need to learn this jargon in order to survive, or are there simpler ways to get across the same type of services or skills?
Yeah, this is a bugbear of mine, and it's, unfortunately, as part of being a digital marketer, it shouldn't be. I mean, it's just appalling marketing is what it is. And I've got a series of, I think there's 23 videos, and there are going to be many more in my WTF series. So that is about going through not just digital marketing jargon, but all the jargon. And this has gone on forever. Like, David Ogilvy was complaining about this in the 60s. Marketers are terrible at this jargon thing. And it's just appalling marketing, because convincing somebody of something by using language they don't understand isn't convincing anyone of anything. So it's appalling. And unfortunately, it is part of it. And unfortunately, I'm going to make hundreds of these videos, but it's never going to go away. So unfortunately, a digital marketer is going to need to know all of this jargon. Interestingly, I don't know if it's still the case, but the last time I saw a stat, the the average lifetime of a digital marketing agency customer in the UK in London was 3 months. So, and I think this is a lot to do with this jargon thing. So I think you can kick the doors in and you can bamboozle people with the jargon and make them feel a little bit silly, like they don't know what they're talking about and you're very clever. But I don't think that persists. So that also goes to the opportunity that I think is in digital marketing right now, because agencies aren't really, I mean, of course, there are some amazing agencies, but they're not really doing a great job of delivering value for customers. So I think the opportunity to get employed in-house as a staff member, as a digital marketer, is really good right now because the agencies aren't doing a great job because they're hiding behind this jargon largely. I did warn you that you've hit on a bugbear of mine, okay? So I've got a lot to say
Okay.
about this. The point is, very often people attend the course because they might be in your shoes, for example, where they are running a business and they are looking for support with their marketing and they aren't understanding what these agencies are saying to them. So literally at the beginning of the course, I'll make everyone tell me why they're there. And if they are a small business owner, they will say, I'm here because I haven't got a clue what my digital marketing agency are talking about or what my digital agency, my digital marketing team are talking about. So I've come here to learn the language. Jargon is interesting because sometimes it's necessary. You know, if I'm having a blood transfusion, I'm perfectly happy for the operating team to use their medical jargon to do it really efficiently, you know. If you're doing very technical, although I'd argue it's not as technical as they might have you believe, search engine optimization type stuff, then okay, there's reason for using jargon there, but there's no reason, there's no excuse for anybody to be using that jargon with somebody who doesn't understand it, you know. So I think people use that jargon to try and make themselves look good and better and have people give in to them, is what I think, you know. So, but I don't think it persists. So the jargon, unfortunately, is not going to go away. People do need to understand it, but people will be given prizes if they catch me using that jargon during the course, because that isn't the point. Nobody understands that stuff, really, is the truth.
Okay, and it's perhaps a means to, yeah, bamboozle you at first to try and get you to understand or feel the value of what they're
Yeah.
presenting, and then, yeah, if there's no substance behind it, then that's where you kind of get caught out, isn't it?
And the thing is, like, people might be overawed by the jargon, but honestly, when you understand what people are talking about, it just makes complete sense, you know? Like, once you've had it translated, it makes complete sense most of the time, unless they are just snake oil salesmen, in which case, you know, they are literally trying to bamboozle you. So we cover the jargon. I don't use the jargon. I don't like the jargon. I think it's like the worst marketing. Yeah, don't get me started because literally, I mean, I've got a whole series of this marketing jargon busting thing. I've got another whole series where I'm interviewing like marketing thought leaders, and you know, this is a topic all of the time. Like, isn't it ironic that marketing have done such a terrible job of marketing themselves? That's kind of the theme. So I hate the
All right.
jargon. I do
Okay.
understand it. Do understand why people use it. You will understand it if you come on the course. But honestly, really.
Well, no, that's a good thing though, because I think sometimes if you're looking outside in on the profession as well, or if you're trying to decide whether it's the right path for you, and you don't understand anything of what's being said, it may put you off as well. Whereas
Yeah.
if you know that, okay, there's a time and a place for this jargon, I'm going to be taught some of it so that I understand the basics, but that's not what it's all about, and I'll learn what it's all about, then perhaps it's a bit more appealing to people.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I see myself rather grandly, like my brand idols are Mary Poppins and Toto, you know, Toto the dog out of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So Mary Poppins is an aside, but the Toto, I see myself as Toto. I see myself as kind of pulling down the curtain so we can all see the Wizard of Oz turning the machine, you know, because that is what's going on. There's just all of this unnecessary. Well, you're right. There's a place for it. Like when you're
Right.
doing technical stuff with your technical colleagues, it absolutely makes sense that you have a vocabulary that makes you more efficient at doing that thing. When you're talking to a customer or you're teaching people, it's completely inappropriate. Don't get me started, Nicole, because I hate that.
Okay. All right, I'll change the subject. Don't worry.
Okay, good. But people need to know if they come on the course, they will understand the jargon. They will understand how this works. I won't
Excellent.
be bamboozling them.
Okay, that's good. Right. Okay. Well, there are many ways to learn about digital marketing. You can go to university, you can get a degree, there's short courses, there's self-taught, you can watch a million videos on YouTube, you can get free stuff on Instagram. Why do you think, or what is the best type of course? I know it will probably vary per person, but is a certificate program a great option for people who maybe don't want to spend on a university degree, but actually want to be formally taught all of these skills? Do you think there's a best way to learn, or would you say?
Yeah, I do. I think the best way to learn is to come and be taught by me on a course run by LEORON UK. I think 100% that's the best way to learn.
I would
But
agree,
I think,
definitely.
like more seriously, I think, it depends how much time and energy you've got and how much money you've got. So the first thing, like 3 years at university studying digital marketing, for me, isn't going to do you a whole lot of good. The Digital Marketing Institute, like they do a Herculean job of staying up with this, of keeping up with this to provide a certificate every year. They change the syllabus every year to keep up, to try and keep up with the industry and the changes that are happening. Like I say, this is ridiculously dynamic. One person decides at Google they're going to change something, and it's changed globally. So they do a Herculean job. So for me, there is no way a university can keep up if they're renewing a syllabus every 3 years. So, I mean, I did a degree and then I went for a job and I didn't, this will age me, I didn't know how to use a fax machine. So, it's like, for me, this is like marketing is a verb, it's a doing word. So the sooner you are doing, the better off you are 100%. So for me, there's the 3 year doing a degree. For me, that can't work. Like, who's got 3 years to invest? They can't possibly keep up with the changes. These are academic institutions. They're not known necessarily for their practical hands-on approach. So for me, the degree thing doesn't really fly. Then you've got free YouTubes on YouTube, and I'm contributing to that. So you can go to my channel and I can vouch for what I'm saying. But yeah, we know we can't really trust videos on YouTube. So like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, you've got the 3 year degree, you've got the YouTube videos. So the way I learned this was probably from YouTube videos and knocking my head against the wall until it was bloody, like getting it wrong, having heart attacks, having to phone clients and explain. And I can't explain, but it's all gone wrong. Google's taken all of our budget already, like, so it's those experiences. So if you are super safe and you just want to be in a university hiding for 3 years while you study digital marketing, that might be a great option for you. If you're a psychopath like me and you want to just knock your head against the wall until it's bloody, that might be a great option for you also. In the middle are quick and punchy courses like this. The reason I deliver this course is because what this course gives you, which I don't think you can get easily anywhere else, is a complete overview. So you can see all of the different segments and you can see how they support each other. So my thing is integrated marketing. So I've never been a PPC agency, I've never been an SEO agency, I've never been a social media agency. What I am is the person who understands how all these things work and can work together. And the answer to every question in digital marketing is test. So literally my approach is you try all of these things, you test, you understand what good value looks like. When you get good value, you pour more resource into that good value. this is how you're successful. This is how you have a successful career. This is how your boss doesn't come and pick on you when they're in a bad mood. Do you know what I mean? So for me, of course, I think this is a great course. That's why I've been delivering it for 8 years. And the reason for that is because it all takes place in a week. It's 30 hours long. It gives you a great overview of how all of these things operate and how they all fit together. And it gives you a network of people who can support you when you go out and start testing things for yourself. So I think this course is a middle ground between the people who need nursing and want to be on a degree for 3 years, not actually doing anything, the people who are complete psychopaths and don't want any help whatsoever. This is a great middle ground, I think. It's all done and dusted in 5 days, 30 hours, and you are off and running. And the thing I think about it also is it depends what kind of career you want to have. So you will be a better search engine optimization person if you understand how PPC supports that and how email marketing supports that and how your content marketing supports that. You will be better at that. But 100% you will be a better digital marketing manager if you understand enough of each of all of these things and how they fit together and how you can leverage each of them to get more value. That's what I think. So in case I haven't made it clear, I think this is a great course. I think people should come and do this with us, with LEORON in the UK.
You haven't mentioned it, but
Okay,
no, it's
good.
great. And I think you're right about the middle ground, because there is so much out there, and it's sometimes hard to get lost in all of the posts and, on your feed in LinkedIn. There's a digital marketing course advertised, every 5 posts or something, it
Yeah.
seems sometimes. So I guess my next question is,
Okay,
why?
can I just say something before you say that? Because I haven't
Yeah,
had this conversation with anyone else.
okay.
I saw it yesterday, I think it was on an Instagram reel or something, and this guy was doing a difference between the United States um, and Europe, and he had like 27 things. I mean, this is just to demonstrate like
Hmm.
we live in the world of misinformation, but this is just to demonstrate how wrong people can be quite often, but still have the platform. He said that smoking in Europe is much more a fashion thing and not considered a risk to your health. This person said that on the internet.
And the
It's
basis of his opinion is?
the basis of his opinion is, Lord knows it's his opinion.
Yeah,
But that's the point, is that you can say whatever you like on the internet,
yeah,
and people are saying whatever they like on the internet. So, if I start giving people junk, we're not going to be running many more courses, so that
yeah.
there is that, and because of the certification, there is that kind of guarantee that nobody on this course is going to stand up and start lying or just spouting their opinion, because you know it's not
Yeah,
going to be right, I think.
it's not going to serve anybody to do that. That's
Yes,
not the point.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. So in terms of delivery,
thank you.
um,
I've just had a
you,
delivery. My evening smoothie has just arrived.
oh, perfect. Been waiting for that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Um, right. So in terms of delivery, so there's a few options out there, and with LEORON and with you, we deliver live virtual training, which is essentially the same as a classroom, only via computer. It's an
Yep.
online platform. Um, what do you think the benefits are of LVT and delivering this course in this way?
I think the benefits are the network, and I think the benefits are, what are as opposed to completely doing the course on your own online? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I just think it's chalk and cheese. I mean, first prize clearly is a room full of people all getting on, having a laugh. Like, I don't know if I've given people a sense of this, but for me, for me, if people are laughing, they're learning. So there's lots of laughing goes on when we deliver the course, and there's lots of interaction. So the huge benefit of doing this in a classroom type situation, whether it's online or whether it's an actual classroom, is if you don't understand something, you get to ask somebody, and then you get to know the answer. Or if you don't quite believe something, then you get to challenge somebody and you get to understand more of the answer or more of the reasoning. So for me, it's chalk and cheese. Like, personally, I don't have the discipline to do 30 hours of online learning. Like, I will tell you I've done it, but I won't have done it. So there's something about showing up and doing it and being able to challenge the instructor and ask the question and make friends with people that is just far and away much more valuable than doing this online, I think. So yeah, chalk and cheese for me.
Excellent. So for those of you who don't know, what we deliver is the DMI program, but led by an instructor, which is why it's the same but different. And Martin is, of course, one of our expert trainers who delivers this program for us. Yeah, I agree. Face-to-face training, there's nothing like it. It is the best option. And obviously, we've adapted throughout the pandemic to live virtual training so that we can continue development in a professional manner. So it's great that we have these options now, and we can run both options.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And the thing is, it's different, like virtual training is different, but it's also fun. Nobody gets to hide, everybody has to interact. And so yeah, first prize clearly is everyone in the same room, but there are benefits. You don't have to get in traffic. When you stop, you are home or you're in your office or whatever. So there are benefits to the virtual thing. First prize is classroom, second prize is virtual. I couldn't be trusted to do the course online. I know that much.
Yeah. Well, then I suppose if you have questions, you're emailing someone maybe to find out, and you're waiting. It's just not the same support, is it? If you're struggling with something.
I mean, I've never been involved in it. I know that the DMI do a huge amount of that.
Okay.
But I've never been involved with it at all, so I've got no idea what the support is like. I've seen some of the content, and the content is fine, but for me, first prize has to be classroom and second prize virtual. And I can't be trusted. I don't know how many times you want me to tell you this, Nicole. I can't be trusted to do that. I just can't. And
I think a lot of us are like that.
To anyone who has the motivation and the discipline to actually do that for themselves. I really do.
No, I agree. I'm the same. Right. Okay. Well, why don't I stop asking questions and see if maybe some of our attendees have some questions for you? Maybe a bit more challenging for you. You never know. Does anyone have a question for Martin? And if you're not able to unmute yourself, let me know. I think I'll unmute everyone, and then if you choose to mute back. Oh, Ibrahim.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. It was very interesting to hear what you had to say in regards to your past within digital marketing. I wanted to know what was the previous digital marketing campaign that you worked on, and sort of what approaches did you take in order to make this campaign that you're working on successful? And whilst you're doing it, what challenges did you face?
Okay, good question. Thank you, Ibrahim. So many digital marketing campaigns. So when I started in 2005, okay, so to give you a bit more background, prior to that was in sales. I'd always been in sales. And the reason I started a marketing company is because I thought that the marketing teams had always had all of the budget and none of the target, whilst the sales team had had all of the target and none of the budget. That was my rationalization. Now, when I started in 2005, digital marketing wasn't really a thing. So the way I came to this, I was offering essentially sales consultancy first. So I would go into businesses and I would say, okay, if I was a professional salesperson in your business, this is what I would be doing. I'd essentially be canvassing. That led, for my sins, to us offering telemarketing as a service. And that led then to us offering email marketing supported by telemarketing as a service, which then led to developing websites, running PPC campaigns, search engine optimization campaigns. And then when social came along, 2008, 2009, we added social media into the mix. Of course, there was a huge crash in 2008. So lots of people's marketing budgets went away. So that's when I personally started training. The biggest challenge you are going to, so The approach to this always is a suck it and see approach. Your mission as a marketer or a digital marketer is to deliver the best value. And I talk about this at length, and we did this before on a webinar that we did about cost of customer acquisition, which comes round to the biggest challenge, the biggest pitch you're ever going to face in your digital marketing career is your boss, because they aren't going to believe what it is that you are proposing. Because what you're always proposing essentially is we need to try all of these different things to know which is going to work best for us. And we're going to have to develop the right messages. We're going to have to target the right people. We're going to have to land those messages at the right time, in the right place, etc., etc. So essentially, digital marketing is a suck it and see operation. The benefit of doing a course like this and having an agency and having run lots of digital marketing campaigns is you can say, okay, our experience of your market is that this will be the first place that we should test, because this might be where we get the best result typically. The challenge is always having the support of your client or your boss, securing the investment that's required to work out where that investment is going to be deliver the best value. So you can't, what can you say? Some things work. This is the beauty of digital marketing. So I could tell you, anyone could come to me, and within 10 minutes, I can tell you exactly what people are searching for on Google, for example. I can tell you when they're searching. I can tell you the exact keywords they're using. So the great beauty of digital marketing is before I ask somebody for a penny of investment, I can do some really meaningful research, and I can identify the scale of the opportunity and also the scale of the investment that might be required to realize that opportunity. So I don't feel like I'm answering your question about a specific campaign, but I can tell you that the issue with every client engagement, every boss engagement is the same. You have to secure enough investment to work out which messages, which platforms, which timings, all of these things are going to be most effective in delivering value. And the beauty of that is once you get that ball rolling, is that it becomes a cycle. So literally every time you come round, you get to turn the screw a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more to deliver a little bit more value each time. So if you take my criteria for marketing, lots of people don't have one, it's cost of customer acquisition against lifetime customer value. So what is it costing us to acquire a customer? What do we make from each customer? And how do we reduce the cost of customer acquisition, increase the lifetime customer value so that we are delivering on the bottom line, the profitability of the business? So I hope that makes sense, Ibrahim. It doesn't exactly answer your question, because once you've established those things, then no campaign really has an issue. Once everybody knows what's going on, then everybody understands the amount of time that you have to invest to see what the value is, then you don't really have an issue. I could tell you 100 horror stories if you want, where websites have been deranked overnight. Google have taken all of our budget out of our pay-per-click campaigns, or LinkedIn have charged us £17 per click, and they claim that there have been 100 clicks and 3 people have turned up on our web pages and none of them have been there for more than 2 seconds. I can tell you a million of those stories. But essentially, the challenge of digital marketing, the challenge of marketing is securing the investment and the support to be able to test which of these platforms, messages, target audiences, etc., is going to work. Does that kind of answer your question, Ibrahim? He's gone off to start doing it already. No.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, it did. So it sounds like you do a lot of background research in order to gain information as to where to allocate financial resources to certain avenues that you want to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. So the first mission is to sit down and put a strategy together. And the first part of that, 60% of that, is your situational analysis. So you understand exactly where you are now, exactly how the market is, exactly who you're going to be targeting, what the competition are up to, all of those things, because you can and this is, the benefit of digital marketing, you can make pretty accurate assessments of what the scale of the opportunity is and what's required to realize that opportunity. So 100%, that's the first thing that you do, is you sit down, you make a plan. It's not 100% what people do all the time. Like 99% of people, I'm sure, just start throwing money around. That's not the best place to start.
Okay. Excellent.
Great question. Thanks, Ibrahim.
Does anyone else have any questions for Martin? Around the course, around digital marketing in general, around what kind of smoothie he's got, anything?
Care to share what type of smoothie you got, Martin?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a chocolate smoothie. It's my evening smoothie.
Excellent. We're all jealous of that, I think, now.
Okay, good. All right, cool.
Anyone else? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I'd like to ask another question. So, what makes digital marketing different from more traditional sense of marketing?
Okay, so that's a good question. And the thing is that it's kind of coming round full circle now. So we talk about digital, we talk about digital and traditional marketing, but of course, traditional marketing is becoming digitized. So for example, now they're putting scanners on billboards so they can count the number of vehicles that pass. TV has become digitized. So it's kind of coming around. The big difference is the transparency and the feedback. So the big difference is you can get a real sense of what your market looks like on the way in. And then when you've actually done it, you're getting proper feedback. So the best example is to compare direct mail with email, for example. So the Direct Mail Association in the United Kingdom will tell you that 0.1% of all direct mail gets opened. It might be 0.8%, I can't remember. The thing is, it doesn't matter what they say because they're making it up, because how could they possibly know? They didn't go around everybody's house and ask them, did you open that piece of mail? So whereas with email, I know exactly how many people were on my list that I sent. I know exactly when it was sent. I know exactly how many of those were received. I know how many of those bounced, soft bounces, hard bounces. I know exactly how many of those were opened. I know exactly what people clicked on. I know exactly when they turned up on the web page. I know how long they spent on the web page. I might know where they went from there. So the difference is that transparency on the way in, and it's not perfect, but you get a really good sense of your market on the way in, and that feedback on the way out. And what that enables you to do is hone your campaigns. So you are constantly turning the screw and making your campaigns more efficient, more effective, and more profitable every time you are involved. So this is, and it's not perfect. Like, I will convince you it's perfect on the course. I'll convince you it's perfect now. It's not perfect, but it is a million miles away from what used to happen, which is you wanted to send a direct mail campaign and it would take 4 months. So you had to secure the budget, you had to get the copy written, you had to get it off to the printer, you had to get it to the distributor, you had to get it in the mailboxes, and then crickets. You hear nothing unless somebody actually phones you up. Whereas if I want to send an email campaign, it might take me 2 or 3 days to come up with the right copy, the right images, the right whatever it is, the approval, the whole thing, and it's gone in seconds and it lands in seconds, and I'm seeing immediately the effect of that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So it sounds like you get a true analysis of what you actually sort of.
Yeah, 100%.
Gain.
Yeah. So now there's a story behind what goes on, So like historically, I mean, God help us if we were marketers in the 90s, like literally we were spending money, and if we were challenged, what were we going to say to people? It's like, well, it went in the post. Like, that's as much as we can hope for. It went in the post. Like, did it work? Did it not work? Did people open it? Did they not open? Like, we've got no idea, no clue. Whereas now there is a story behind what's going on. So if your boss is in a terrible mood and he wants to come and jump on you, then you can tell them the whole story. This is what we happened. This is what did. This is how they responded. This is what we're thinking in terms of response. That will go out next week, and I'll let you know exactly what the story is after that. But come and talk to me about whatever it is I'm doing, because I'm completely, my bases are covered. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what the feedback is. I know exactly what the effect is. So now these moody bosses have to go and pick on somebody else, because marketing people are empowered now with digital marketing. They can see exactly what's going on. And I like to tell people it's like driving a car. You know, all of the instrumentation is in front of you, and you should be, it's not perfect. I'll tell you it's perfect, but it's not. It's not perfect, but it is like driving a car. I know how fast I'm going. I know how much petrol I've got. I know what's going on. I am in control of my digital marketing. And the students that, like there may be more geeky students who do this, they go away and they run their marketing by the numbers, and they are hugely successful. You know, I'm not quite that geeky. I need that geeky people to do that work for me. But I know I can think of 10 or 15 students who've gone off and had really successful careers because they just absolutely run their marketing department by the numbers.
That's great. Thank you for that insight.
Pleasure.
I have another question for you, Martin. When you teach this course, what kind of, I don't know, what kind of dynamic teaching methods do you use, or methodologies? Do you use props? Do you use case studies? How do you make the material come alive, shall we say?
I make the material come alive. I mean, so if it's face to face, I've got a bag of soldiers, and I throw. So if somebody interjects or asks a question or whatever, then they are rewarded with a soldier, and then we have a count up at the end of the week, and the person with the biggest army is the general, and they win a prize of some description. What I've always done is, because you know we do this stuff every day, like we've grown up now with the internet, you know, so we know what Google is and we've got a sense of how it works, and we know what social media is and we know how it works. So the way I kind of teach is by firing questions at the group, especially if it's like a virtual training, because people in the group will know the answers, and I don't want to be talking for 30 hours. I find it really uninteresting. I never say anything I've not heard before, you know. So for me, it's about pulling the answers out of the group and directing them so that they understand, because also groups will have experience. People will already be in digital marketing roles. They might have much more experience than I do of TikTok marketing or Snapchat marketing or some of these newer social media platforms that have come about since I stopped providing services. So that's the way I do it, is I grill the group and I get them to come up with their own answers, and I create an environment where you are rewarded for challenging, for being involved. So the way I teach this is very, very conversational. I mean, there's a tsunami of content in this. Like there is a lot of slides which every student will have forever. So I'm not about the slides. I'm about making sure people understand the things that I really need them to understand. Like, for example, when I teach PPC, I think it's really important that people know that Google are really only interested in your money and are very good at taking your money. You know, so as long as I've got that point across, then I've covered my bases for that whole module, you know. So that's it. I grill people. If it's a live classroom, I throw things around so everyone's paying attention the other day, all day, or else somebody could lose an eye. And, you know, I create an environment where people can discuss and challenge, and it's very conversational.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Last chance for questions, anyone? All right. Looks like everyone's fairly satisfied with what you've already told them. You're allowed to go and have your smoothie now.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. I mean, I really look forward to delivering some of these courses for you in the UK. It would be great.
Thank you very much, Martin. We really have appreciated you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us and just discuss marketing and the courses and all of the options that are available. And hopefully the best option is you and I delivering this through LEORON.
100% is the best option. Yeah. I mean, what would they be thinking otherwise?
I'm not sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. and hopefully we'll see you again soon for another chat. And take care, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. Take care.